Hi everyone, thank you for coming to this podcast. My name is Pavel Khazanov. I'm selling on Amazon since 2015, and I'm co-founder of Talent's Boutique, the leading recruiting agencies for e-commerce businesses in Europe. We are specialized for recruiting best talents for e-commerce businesses, big e-commerce businesses, and big agencies for more than 7 years. And today we are going to talk about very interesting topic, retail. I know a lot of e-commerce sellers dreamed to see their products on the shelves of big offline stores. And today, my guest is a good friend of mine, Taylor Offer. He has been selling products on retail to retail since 2005, and is the owner of Retail Empire, successfully introducing brands to some of the US's largest retailers, including Costco, Walmart offline, among many others. And Taylor has sold in almost every category, bringing many e-commerce brands to the world of retail and facilitating fantastic growth. I'm personally following his WhatsApp account and see the numbers, and this is amazing. And Taylor, thank you for coming to share with us this information.
Thank you, Pavel. Pleasure being here.
Okay, and my first question is, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into the retail business?
Sure, I've been in retail for over 20 years by now, and it all started back in Asia. I was living there for 12 years, and I gathered with a group that was selling to Walmart and Costco, and I did private label with them to these two accounts, Costco both in Canada and the States, and Walmart in the States. And later on, I created my own brand, so I know exactly how it feels to be a vendor struggling with manufacturers, shipping, costs, sales, all these aspects. And successfully, we have been selling our products of my brand to 60 different department stores in the USA, including Macy's, Urban Outfitter, TJ Maxx, and others. And since 2017, I closed the brand, and what we do is basically rep agency. For the last 8 years, we are introducing online sellers to retail buyers. 90% or 95% of our activity is headed into brick and mortar, the physical stores, while our expertise is based on the assumption that most of the online sellers, including Amazon sellers, normally would not really know how the process should look like with the buyers, how to find the buyers, what to prepare, what to tell them, what not to tell them, and what are the options out there in the market, which is one of the surprising thing about retail, because most of the sellers do not know that the entire online and I'm talking only about the US market. This is our market, USA alone, no Europe, no nothing else. So in USA, the entire online, including Walmart.com, Amazon.com, Shopify, you name it, it's no more than 15% of the market. So the retail is not 85, it's about 55 to 60%. It depends who you're asking, but the majority of the market is 100% in retail. And people tend to ignore or not know it because they are focused on Amazon, which is fine. But you have a brand, you have products, you're doing good, you have branding, packaging, and everything you need. There's no reason why not taking your products into retail. So that's what we do, the introductions.
And despite, it's amazing, more than 50%. And
Yeah.
despite the size of this industry, we hear very, very little about it in e-commerce community. Why is that? Is it really retail, really such difficult business that nobody from e-commerce don't want to get there? Or
I think to me, it looks like a mirror to what I was experiencing about 12, 14 years ago. I was selling to retailers and I started to hear people talking a little bit about Amazon, but it was very, very small talks. It was very, niche type of business. And if I would understand what Amazon is back in those days, I would definitely go for Amazon. But I did not understand because we were all focused on retail. Did you have the order with Macy's? How is it going with Bloomingdale? Do you have a buyer from Urban? We all spoke between us, me and my friends, about retail. And from time to time, we heard about selling online and Amazon, and it sounded to us like something that is, not really easy to handle and quite probably, not what we're looking for. And I think the same thing is happening to the Amazon community, where from time to time they hear about retail, they don't really know what it looks like, how is it working, or what the opportunity in the retail is. And you're seeing, even if you're selling, let's say, 6 or 7 figures, you're hearing probably about other sellers selling 8, 9, and even 10 figures. And then you're thinking to yourself, oh, that's where I want to be. So let's dive deeper into the Amazon platform and try to hit those numbers while you are missing huge opportunities out there. I think it's like, and unfortunately, and this is something that I really say unfortunately, although it's in a way it's a little bit good for me, but unfortunately there are not many people who are dealing with retail like us, like rep agencies. Most of the companies dealing with that, and there are not many of them, but most of them are distributors. So distributor, unlike rep agents, are purchasing from you and selling to the retailer. And then you have two issues here. First of all, the price, because they would try to bring the price as low as possible. The second problem is that you don't have any contact with the retailer. They talk with the buyer, they do the entire process, and you are only communicating with them. So you have no access to talk with the buyer, with the retailer, which is completely different from what we do. We are 100% transparent and also connecting the vendor with the buyer. Not to mention that we're helping them in the process, because we know that sometimes, the vendor would not really know how to respond, how to address questions, what to say in a video call with the buyer. So we're doing all this process for the vendors. But going back to the previous point that you mentioned, I think um, I think that one of the most important things is that when you're selling someone, you want to talk with them directly. You don't want anyone in between, and definitely not someone who is blocking you from talking with them, right? So
And
that's
yeah.
that's the difference. Yeah.
And in your agency, Retail Empire, how exactly you help sellers? You connect them between directly to retail, and what is the process? We probably you
Okay.
want
So
to
base
share the platform to show.
Yes, of course. I will share that in a second. So basically, everything that I'm going to share with you today is written in our landing page. In our website, there's a page called SalesTube. This is the service name, where everything I'm going to tell you, and even much more than that, is described here. There are videos, questions and answers. You're going to have testimonials from vendors who's working with us. Everything is here, just so that you know. Basically, as of today, we are working with 450 retailers approximately in the USA. And when I say working with, it means that we either have open orders with them, or we had open orders with them in the last couple of weeks or months, or we are about to get orders and we are communicating with the buyer. So for us, it's the door is open. We have, direct communication with them, which is fantastic. By the way, 450 retailers means that it's approximately between 7 to 8,000 buyers, which is quite a lot to handle. So I don't know them personally. Some of them I do, but obviously, 7,000 buyers, you cannot know all of them. But then once a brand is joining our service, we are starting, first of all, to analyze the brand. What is the category? What's the niche that is in? What's the subcategory? What's the attributes they have? What's their advantages versus their competitors? And once we know that, which is taking us very short time, then we go back to the list and sorting out the irrelevant buyers and retailers. For example, one of the famous retailers in the USA for outdoor is Bass Pro. Okay, Bass Pro is a very high-end retail chain stores. They literally have artificial lake in their stores where you can fish and try, all the accessories for fishing. It's amazing.
Oh.
So if, for instance, a brand is joining us and he's selling beauty items, we would not apply with beauty items to Bass Pro because they just don't have that category, right? So we sort them out, and then usually each and every category we end up applying to about 300 or a little bit more retailers. Okay, that's the first thing we do. But we don't apply to all of them immediately because we want to test how the application looks like. And when I say application, I'm talking about the brief. The brief is how you present your brand. What are you telling? What's the story you're telling about your brand? What are the texts that you are using? And then we choose the first 100 retailers in the first month or so, and we start approaching them. If we see the conversion is good, then we move forward. And good conversion means that the buyers start to ask you, oh, that looks good. Can I see samples? Can I get you on a call? Can we see how the packaging looks like? Any question, any interest from their side means positive because they are looking. By the way, the most positive in the first step, the most positive response is asking for samples. That means that they are interested. And from that point, if you didn't manage to close an order, that means that you did something wrong in the process. And that's on us because the process is managed by us, mostly by us, but we also rely on the vendor to respond, how much inventory they have, if they can change attributes, can they do customized items and so on. And that's how the process looks like while we are building not only the approach and opening the door, but we also do the follow up and everything. And we are building for the brand how their brief will look like. And that's because we know exactly what buyers wants to hear and so on. And we are trying to keep it data-driven business in a way that we have certain amount of vendors, and then we compare all of them every week. If one vendor is getting, let's say, 3 positive responses every day, that's fantastic. But if the other brand is getting 5, then it means that, hey, we can do better with other brands. And then another brand comes up, and in a matter of a total week or two, there's 0 responses. That's where we get worried. And we say, wait a second, let's stop. We're not doing it properly. Something is wrong here. Although we have experience with probably any category or most of the categories, I would say, we still know that sometimes we might mispresent a brand. And that's why we're very careful with the numbers, looking at how conversion looks like so that we can make sure that the main target is executed. And the main target is eventually getting purchase orders for the brand on the table.
And
And then every brand, by the way, who's joining us have we dedicate a person from our team, and that's beside me involved in everything, but a dedicated person who is leading the whole process with the vendor on a daily basis.
What type of products are best suited for entering the retail market? Because I know that there are easier categories and there are more problematic, more demand
Right. I think
categories.
the hard categories is probably food and drinks, because of the competition mainly. But we do have good contacts with grocery stores and even with grocery buyers in general stores. General stores, I mean like Costco, Walmart, and others that are selling groceries or selling food and drinks, but are not specifically for that category, not a supermarket. And then the most popular categories and successful one on our side is probably outdoor. Um, I think gaming and accessories and toys. Beauty is a very strong category. We did crazy numbers in beauty, and I'll explain that later. And what else? Hardware is also a good category, like bathroom and accessories like that. And kitchen recently became, I think, the most successful category. And when I
Oh.
say kitchen, it's also grilling and
Mhm.
outdoor grilling, but also, home appliances that we have. We have a couple of
What
very
about
successful
pet
brands.
products, for example?
Pet product is also a good category for us, but keep in mind that with pet products, the options you have in retail are smaller than others. I would say that if, for example, if beauty is present in about 70% of the retailer's shelf, pet would be present in about 50% of them. So it's just a game of it's a game of numbers. Like if you go on pet, it's fine. We have pet buyers. We talk with like everyone, Petco and so on. But still, like in general, pet is is less present in retail chain stores versus the other categories.
And can you share some examples with numbers?
Yes, of course. So there are two types, by the way, of purchase orders. There's a test order where they want to test and see how it goes, and there's like the big orders. My issue with sharing is that I need to ask the vendor before I share anything because I would never enclose any detail from a vendor unless they approve that. So I have not asked yet one of our vendors who is working with, his name is, he has a toy brand, and he's working with FYE, Walmart, um, Kohl's, Mayer, and one more I forgot. And every single order for him is six-figure and above. The last one he got from FYE was close to $200,000. It's just one order, one purchase order, and you can understand how the repeats would look like. But then if I look at something that I can share, which is a test order, I would look at this from a guy named Chuck, um, who have been with us for a month and a half, I think. He just started like end of March. We introduced Nordstrom, and this is a good example how Nordstrom are doing. They have like 300, about 340 stores. As you can see, his company name Braze, and by the way, he approved me to share that. That's why I'm able to share it. His company name is on the purchase order, not ours. Again, like I mentioned earlier. And delivery date was April 18. He had some delay a few days later, but it's not a big deal. And they ordered here, among three SKUs, they ordered 1,000, I think about, yeah, 1,000 pieces for each. I know you see it three times, but that's because the way the form they do the purchase order, but it's eventually 2,900 pieces on a test order, and it's a wholesale value of $44,000, and they sell it for 95 eventually. So they almost, not almost, but they more than
Double.
double the cost. Yeah, that's what they do. And the vendor, by the way, is it's very successful one. You know, it's interesting. Usually you would expect the vendor to purchase the goods landed in the US for around 50% of the wholesale price. But in his case, he's paying less than 20% for the goods. So he's doing like nice markup in here. Okay. And that's just the first order. It's a test order. Once it's in the stores, which is probably happening as we speak, then in a matter of few weeks, they will know how good it sells. And then they get back to the seller saying, you know what, it's not selling good. We're not going to repeat order. Or they would say, oh, this is selling great. Let's make another order. Now, Nordstrom is the type of company who is usually taking risk. This is not a risky PO. One of the last POs I've seen with them from Lavery, which is a brand from USA, from New York, was it was, what was it? I think 115 or $16,000 first order, and they take the risk. Keep in mind that in retail there is no consignation, which means once they purchase the goods, they are obligated to sell it. It's on them. They cannot just return the goods. It doesn't happen. Okay, that's not the deal in retail. It's by the way, if you think on Amazon, Amazon is consignation because you put everything in the warehouse. You need to have inventory, right? You need to have it ready for shipping. And you bought, I don't know, whatever, 50,000, 70,000 pieces, whatever you bought, but nobody's telling you for sure that you're going to sell it, right? And
Yeah.
Amazon obviously can shut your listing down in a matter of seconds, which is unfortunately happening. And I've seen brands
It
that have
happens a
been through
lot. We
that.
see it's also in our agency, and it happens. And this will be is going to be my next question. Let's talk
Yeah.
about a little bit later. But you talked about the margins of approximately 100% between or more. Is it real or it's just in this case? Because on
No,
Amazon, in
here's
Amazon, if you have business who with profitability between 10 to 25%, it's very, very rare. It's between 20 to 10 to 20% from the selling price profit. It's fantastic. So here we are talking about 100% profit.
yes. Allow me to explain. Retail retail is working as follow. You have an MSRP, which is the manufacturer suggested retail price. This is the retail price you're selling on Amazon, on Walmart, on the shelf for the consumer. Let's say your price is $50. Okay. In most of the cases, you will sell it for half of it as wholesale price to the buyer. okay, to the retailer. That means $25. Let's say $23, okay, just in case, because it's not always 50%, it's around 50%. Then the question is, how much is your COG, cost of goods, LDP, landed price, whatever you call it? If your landed cost should be, but if it is around $12, $13, then yes, you're doubling. But if your cost is $20, then you're not doubling, but you're doing about 20, 25%. It depends what your landed cost is.
It's still
But
good.
this is, yes, but this is the benchmark. Now, here's what happens with off-price retailers. Off-price means that they purchase for lower than others. They still have to sell in the same retail price because that's the business. They cannot screw your Amazon listing. And the same way, you cannot deduct the Amazon price from 50 to 30 because the same product is selling at TJ Maxx for $50 and you will kill the business if you do it on Amazon. So that's one MSRP, one retail price across all platforms. And then companies like TJ Maxx, Marshall, Home Goods, Bills of Florida, Gabe, City Trends, all these off-price companies, they buy for around 25 to 30% of the MSRP. So if you go back to the example of $50, now you're getting paid approximately $15 for a product. So if your cost is 12, you're still okay. And why am I saying okay? Because the off-price type of deals have something that the normal retailers do not have. They have crazy quantities. I don't know, my camera is going to zoom out and in all the time. They have crazy quantities. Like TJ Maxx, for instance, they would start with 400 or 500 pieces per SKU to test. But once they finish the test, they have only one question to ask you. How many can you provide a month? Now, this is not like it sounds. You might think, oh, I can provide you as much as you want. No, they might go to like 100,000, 200, 300,000 pieces per month per SKU. They can do that and they are doing it. That's where you have to be careful when you respond them. What's your capacity? So that's the pricing difference. And by the way, Costco is a complete different pricing. It's for another session. We cannot go through this quickly. It's quite complicated.
Okay, and by the way, I know that you have your WhatsApp channel, and I'm
Sure.
following your channel for several years, and I saw the numbers. I think we will share the link to the WhatsApp channel,
Sure.
and our listeners, that you can join the channel and see the numbers and the screenshots, of course, without the details of the buyers and
Right.
sellers. But I saw the
Right.
numbers. By the way, what was the biggest number, the biggest order that you ever seen in all these years?
Last year, it's not the biggest, but last year I had an order from Menards, which only have less than 400 stores, I think, but they have sent an order for fleas, which is like, the top fleas. They sent an order for $1.4 million in one purchase order.
Wow.
But here is something interesting. We have not been focused on marketplaces. And I'm not talking about Amazon, because we do have access for Walmart.com, Office Depot, HomeDepot.com, Macy's.com, and so on. One of our vendors, which is, by the way, when I think about it, this is something that I can share because I have the approval from the vendor. So I'll share it with you in a second. We introduced them to Macy's. And indeed, they have a lot of SKUs. Now, Macy's said, okay, we want to try you in the marketplace. And I was like, oh, marketplace, how much will they sell? It's not going to be something crazy. And I totally forgot about it. And then a couple of weeks ago, the vendor comes back to me saying, hey, I think we need to talk with the buyers about stores. And I said, why? And they said, look at our sales. It says store Macy's, but it's actually the marketplace. Look at our Q4 summary sales on Macy's.com marketplace. Now, as you can see the date, October 1st through December 31, Q4. And I like sitting here, scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and it's like endless. And you see 25,000 on this SKU, 6,000 on that one. And then you have some bigger numbers. But eventually they sold in Q4 alone in the marketplace $4.6 million.
Wow.
And that's the marketplace. It's not even the stores. And the marketplace, like Macy's marketplace, is considered number 11 ranked in the US. Some websites will tell you it's ranked number 9. That's not true. It's ranked 11. It used to be number 9, by the way, but others went stronger. But think about it, like, and Macy's is only 800 stores, more or less. We are working with giants like CVS with 9,900 stores. Now think about their platform. Okay, so when you get a $1.4 million purchase order on one purchase order, this is like huge. Because again, it's a one order. Think about what you're selling on Amazon. You're selling one piece, it's gonna be what, $50? You're gonna get left with whatever, $7, $8, $15, whatever it is, and then multiply 200 pieces a day, 5,000 pieces a day, whatever. We're talking about tens of thousands of pieces for each and every order that you receive. Okay, so yeah, these are the numbers.
Oh, fantastic. And what about if I want to learn how to do it by myself? How can e-commerce seller like me learn to bring their brands into retail without making costly mistakes? I had you offer some kind of learning
Yeah,
platform, of
we
course.
yeah we actually recorded a course recently. I did it with Noam Farrar, who's a very famous guy
Yeah,
in the
I
industry,
know, I
and
know
with
him.
yeah, the guy with the bird, and and with Aaron Harbage, which is my partner from Canada. We recorded the three of us, very in-depth course, which is, I think, the most extensive course out there for retail. And we literally shared everything that we do, that I am doing in my business, like all the insider, how we do everything behind the scenes. So when we give a service to someone, there's a lot of things, most of the things are happening behind the scenes, and the person would not even know what's happening because, it's our business. But in the course, we shared each and every step that we're doing so that whomever is taking that course will eventually be able to handle those accounts themselves, and even to find the buyers, to talk with, everything is mentioned, A to Z course. So I can share the link as well. I don't know why I don't hear you.
Yeah, we have some internet interruptions. Now you hear me? Do you hear me
Oh,
now?
yeah, now I hear you.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay, yeah. You want to share the platform, the course.
yes, I will put the link here and share it as we speak. I just need to find the link in a second. Give me a second right here. Um, mm, mm, mm.
Probably before, while you're looking for the link, I have another question. Let's talk about our customers. Our customers in the agency are large businesses with revenue from $3 million a month up to 100 plus million dollar, not a month, sorry, a year, up to 100 plus million dollars a year. And these business owners, they want to manage their business from strategic point. They don't make anything by themselves, and they hire people, hire employers to manage their business, the department for them. And what kind of employers should they hire? With what background or soft skills should they look for?
So basically, and this is, by the way, the page. I will send the link somewhere here or send it to you so you
We
can
will
share
we will
it
place it
with everyone.
under
Yeah,
the in the description of the video of the podcast.
perfect. Perfect. So I think one of the two most important skills is people who comes from. You will not find retail experts, not in the VA field, but you will find people who are expert with cold email outreach, deliverability, and um, I think creativity. So creativity, I mean the texts, because yeah, we are using a lot of methods with GPT and everything, but eventually, if you don't understand what cold emails should look like, because all this communication with buyers are through email. They don't want you to call them, and if they are, then it's only if it's planned, video call. They don't want cold calls. Nobody answers those calls. Texts, barely I text them. from time to time if I know them well, then, on WhatsApp, but not really a lot. So email is the most used platform for communication. And then when a person sits there and knowing how cold email should look like and have the sense of how to capture the person on the other side, this is what makes the difference. And again, deliverability. When I say deliverability, I'm talking about people who are used on using different tools for deliverability of the email to make sure that they land in the inbox.
Yeah, I understand. Should they live in the US?
No, no,
No.
no. I don't live in the US, and most of my team are not US based, so it's not an issue. Yeah,
Okay. So, and they can hire with us, for example, the people with these soft skills and hard skills, and they can go to the course that you're
exactly.
going to present right
Yeah,
now. Yes, let's present it
yes,
and learn how to do it professionally.
yes, 100%. They can do that, and they can share with that person our course, and everything is described here with all the details, what is included, what is the support we're giving them, who are the experts, of course, me, Aaron, and Norm, as I mentioned earlier. And all the models is we broke it into chapters, like every model, what is inside, and you can click on it and see a little bit more what's the lessons. Like, it's really, as again, we're working very transparent. You're getting a full package of everything you need for retail, and it's broken into tools. I would say that model number 5 could be exactly what you need when you're looking for a VA to do it. Knowing this part, or at least having some background, this part would do the biggest impact when it comes to retail outreach. Okay, operational is something that you can teach. They can learn all these chapters quite easily in the course, but then coming from the email and outreach background is what really matters. And by the way, we are sharing also templates, SOPs, all our procedures, what tools we are using, what softwares we are using, how we're using the softwares, everything, everything that you might have in mind. There's, like, here you can see, you asked me earlier, purchase order. This is Rite Aid, a purchase order from Rite Aid. And there's probably a couple of more in the page somewhere here. And there's obviously testimonials from people who took the course or took our service. And here's another purchase order from All True, which is a subscription box. This one is from ADE. He's one of our best sellers, I think. He's getting, like, all the time, again and again, orders. Again, like, everything is written here quite nicely and interesting. So yeah, once you share it with the audience, they can see it.
That's it's the first time I'm in commerce for 10 years. It's the first time that I see course for retailers. It's amazing. And at our agency, you were right in the beginning that you told that Amazon is not very stable platform anymore. And our agency, we see a growing trend in multi-marketplace and expansion. Sellers can no longer rely solely on Amazon and are branching out to platforms like Walmart Online, TikTok Shop, their own websites, and other marketplaces. And employers who can manage multiple marketplaces has really advantage. I think you probably answer me. Can completing your course help, say, an Amazon brand manager to get a new profession like a retail brand manager and to get better conditions, higher salary in a big company?
100%. 100%. When a person wants, I'll answer you from another angle. When a person wants to leave my company for whatever reason, whatever the reason is, I know that now they can get probably double salary from what they could get last year. I'm not sure they know it, but I know it because what they get when and by the way, when my employees start working with us, after we walk them through the SOPs and the process and everything, we give them access to the course so they can learn everything. And that's it. You don't need to talk anymore. okay, after a week or two, the guy understand or the girl understands exactly what they need to do, and that's it. You can start shooting, what we call.
Okay, that's interesting. And to start working with you, what should now Amazon brand owner, for example, what should he prepare? How the process start?
Basically, as I showed earlier, there's like sales tube, which is our service, and once a person signs up, they will have access to an onboarding link, which will ask him a few questions. The main questions, two questions, are what's your categories? We know the categories, but we want to hear it from the vendor as well to make sure. And then a brief, like a short description of the brand. We take that brief, process it, and then we give back to the vendor a better brief to confirm that that's what we're going to use. It's a done for you service, so we are basically doing most of the work for the vendor. And then once they are signed up, they also have access to our dashboard, which took us 2 years to build. It looks simple, but there's a lot of things happening in the background. You're going to see like how many buyers are now open, retailers, responses, interested, what's the opportunities, all the stats they need, how many leads we have in the pipeline, and then buyers list, what buyers names and companies and everything, and then who is interested or not. There's even a mailbox where they can directly respond to the buyer from here, or we do it. It depends on what the vendor prefer. And then obviously reports telling them real in-depth stats with their product. And of course, suppose if they want to raise a ticket, book a call with us or whatever they want. So this dashboard is where they can 24/7 see exactly what's happening with their brand.
Okay. Okay, Taylor, thank you very much for this information. I think it was very helpful, very interesting, and the numbers are amazing. I hope that a lot of our customers will come and you will help them to transit with transitioning with their business to this retail area, because Amazon becomes harder and harder from year to year. And I will put the link to your course and to your website and to your WhatsApp account where you share the examples and answer the question under this video. And for those of you who are watching, and if you need help with finding right people for e-commerce businesses, we would be happy to support you. We work with more than 40 different roles in e-commerce. Now I think we will add also a retail account manager. Yes, so it will be 41. So if you are looking for best talents for your business, just send us an email or book a free consultation using the link in the description under this video. And thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share with all your friends, and see you in the next episode. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you,
Thank
Pavel.
you, Taylor. See you in the next video.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
See you. Bye bye.